If you want to make some sweet pickle relish with all the pickles you have, it's really simple. Stay here and see how we're going to put these together. And this is a canning method. You ever want to know how sweet relish is made? If you have a good amount of cucumbers, you don't know what to do with them, and you're sick of pickles, let's try a sweet cucumber relish. This will be like the second time I'm making it, so I'm not a real pro, but I'm only using about 1.5 pounds of these small cucumbers. You can use the larger cucumbers, but you'd have to scrape out the middle. If you have this size of a cucumber, you can cut it in half, scoop out the seeds, and then we'll go to the next step. Using these small cucumbers, you want to take all your cucumbers and put them in a nice bowl filled with water and let them sit for about 2 hours. Refrigerator would be good. Take and cut off all the ends and then cut them in half, because we're going to be putting all this in a food processor along with onion. Now the onion I took and I chopped it, and I used the little processor here, and I wanted to grind that up. 2 cups of onions, 1 green pepper. We'll rough chop these peppers and put them in with the pickles so we can put them in the food processor later. I'm also going to add some red pepper. You don't have to add any green peppers if you don't like them. The red pepper adds to a little sweetness. So here's our cucumbers and our peppers. I have the onions on the side. I'm going to use a food processor to pulse these vegetables. Looks like a lot, but it really isn't. You want to pulse it so you don't pulverize too much the cucumbers and peppers. Just give them little pulses and then open up and check your container to see if you have the right consistency. I'm also going to add the onions in now. Give them another pulsing. This is why I pulse the onions in the beginning, so I don't have them too over chopped. Now do a final check to see if it's okay. Okay, now we're going to take all the vegetables and put it in a strainer and let it sit with some pickling salt. Cucumbers have a lot of liquid. We don't want that liquid in our relish. I'm going to drain it as much as we can. I'm going to use some kosher salt or canning salt, about 1/4 cup. I'm going to put it on top. Don't let it scare you. We're going to be rinsing this off. This is so you can draw out all the liquid from the cucumber mix. And this is what it should look like. We'll let that sit for about 2 hours in the refrigerator. And as you can see, I'm also using a draining cloth, and this will really help liquid drawn out. I have these in my showcase. They're excellent strainers. I use them for a lot of things in the kitchen, a lot better than a cheesecloth. Okay, in a pot, I'm going to get ready the brine that we're going to be using. We need 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, and that's 2 cups. I use 2.5 to 3 cups of sugar for this brine recipe. This is a sweet relish, so put that on the stove till the sugar dissolves. After dissolving and heating up, we're going to add our spices: 1 tablespoon of celery seed, 1 tablespoon of mustard seed, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. I also put clove in my sweet relish. That's the cloves. I keep them whole and I just grind them in. About 1/8 teaspoon. We'll let this simmer on the stove now for a little bit. Time to drain our cucumber mix. As you can see, look at all the liquid that it drained, and here's our mix. Now we're going to run it under some cold water so we can get a lot of that salt out. Just kind of mix it up with your hands. We're going to drain this again. This is why these bags are so nice. Be surprised, all those cucumbers, peppers, and onions that we had leave you with such a small little amount. That's going to be enough to make our sweet relish. Now our brine has dissolved the sugar, and to add relish vegetables. I'm going to cook this for about 10 minutes. Stir that in. Set a timer for about 8 to 10 minutes. I suggest you check out how to can, but my jars are sterilized and I'm putting in the relish. I like to drain it with a little strainer so I don't put in a lot of liquid. My relish is pretty thick. I'll add liquid a little later, like right now. I'll put some liquid on top just to balance it out. Then you want to get the tamper and you want to push down to get any air bubbles out. So I got about 4 jars. The next thing I do, we always wipe the rims before we put our lid on. Nice, clean, sterilized lids. And now my jars will go into a canner and they will process for 10 minutes. Here is our sweet pickle relish. I got 4 jars. That's good enough for me, but you can always make more.